We are live.
How do we know? Oh, we're live. We are
Okay, I
live.
think I should be well, not quite.
You're in the dark. We are live, as you can see, with Dr. Sean, who's just doing some light checks.
To be fair, that's not Dr. Sean in the
No,
picture.
that
Dr.
is
Sean
not. I don't know
Omara
if you-
is an absolute genius on visceral, or should we say adipose fat. So
One of our favourite doctors.
he's a favourite doctor.
Okay,
of ours,
hopefully
but
I look a little brighter.
A little brighter. Hello, how are you?
Sean, we're on. We're now live.
Can you hear us?
Sean, are you hearing us?
Oh boy.
We were having such a good chat before we went live. And
But
now
now-
we're having some technical issues. We're going to be talking about healthy faces. What is a healthy face?
And how can you tell the health of somebody from that face? Anyway,
Yes.
Sean,
Over to you.
you are live.
All right. Well, great to be back with you, Carolyn and David. So yeah, we'll talk healthy faces, and faces traditionally have been something that humanity has always admired because it's one of our first metrics that we take a look at somebody and form an opinion whether we want to associate with them and how much time we want to spend with them. So faces are underappreciated. We look at, I think in the marketing space, maybe for beauty, but it's underappreciated by a lot of males. And the commonality between females and males is influence. So the healthier you are, the more you can influence people based on your health, and it shows the most prominently in your face. So that's why women are very interested in looking attractive.
So yes, and that is even without saying a word, right? So
That's correct.
Influencing people, it's walking into a room and being drawn to somebody because they have a healthy face, not necessarily beautiful, but a healthy face.
So what we're
That's
saying
correct.
is years ago when I met you, it wasn't your wit and it wasn't your intelligence. It was just you had a beautiful face.
No, a healthy face.
Healthy face.
And it's traditional. If the legacy and the origins of the monarchy came from leadership in clans and tribes. And the ones that could lead the hunt, lead the tribe the best, were the best performers. And the best performers were the healthiest. And the healthiest looked the best. So within the royalty was this persistence of good genes and good lifestyles. But it's really all changed in the past 20,000 years with the advent of storage, when we could start storing food and grain and currency. Then the lifestyle of excess started to detract from that. But before a royal member would walk into the presence of a clan, and people would be drawn to their attractiveness, their health, and they could influence people better. Today, we kind of see it, a watered down version of it, people that are attractive, beautiful, handsome. But if you can focus in on the biology behind attraction, then you appreciate the fact it really is at its core how healthy you are. And so it's something that's underappreciated, and I'd love to have the opportunity to talk about it. So we oftentimes get into that origin, but I want to make sure at the outset that we talk about it.
I know we haven't got very long this morning. You were so kind to join us on a Saturday morning early for you, and I'm sure your wife is not happy. So let's just get on with it. Should we talk about my man's face, or should we talk about your men's face behind you?
Yeah. So David's in pretty good shape. I think David, if he was a client of mine, I would scan him and I'd be looking for a few different types of fat. So we look at visceral fat, which has a negative influence on your face. And so there's different amounts of visceral fat that you can see in faces. So these are two, just from a live Instagram, I captured these different appearance to these faces. But there's another type of fat that influences your face from a good perspective. In other words, when you have it, it actually makes your face look better. And that's superficial subcutaneous fat. So maybe we'll take a quick look at that and how it changes over a period of time. This individual has a good amount of superficial subcutaneous fat. Then they get more inflammatory visceral fat, lose their superficial.
No.
And then on the last picture here, you can see a significant improvement. So what did they do? They actually lost visceral fat and they preserved their superficial subcutaneous fat. So big difference in those two photographs, what happened. So in case whoever's listening, like, oh my gosh, I would like to have a more attractive face. You want to lose your inflammatory fat and you want to gain your beneficial fat. So another example of this, what's going on is look at these faces. So this guy came to me filled with visceral fat, and then look how much he changed.
Was that the same person, those three pictures?
Yes, it was.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the time difference in there actually between those photographs always surprises people, because this is between these two photographs is only 4 months. So in a very short period of time, you can actually have a very significant impact on how your face looks if you look with fidelity at these fats. So if you take an educated, informed, intelligent approach using biology, you can significantly change the face more than even plastic surgery. And the cool thing is, this guy changed from the inside out his entire body. So when you do plastic surgery, you only maybe change the face or the nose or one particular aspect. But when you change your biology, you can change your entire body. So it's a big, big difference. So focusing in here, I have an MRI to show the difference. So this is 2 years going from here to here. He's looked like he's lost 15 years, becoming more youthful. But what happened was his visceral fat was decreased. So we've talked about this in the past. It's all this white stuff in the middle, and it's the white stuff in the muscles, is muscle fat. And look how much of the white stuff left over 2 years. He's a professional NFL football, American football player. So that's how he changed his face. And he's in the financial space now. He's retired. So he's in a financial investment space. And now he can work with clients a lot better because of that influence. But take a look at these two abdominal MRI scans. These are males. And I'm going to ask you and David to imagine what these faces look like. Okay? So just imagine what these faces look like for these two different males. And now I'm going to pull them up and allow you to see them.
Gosh, these are two boys at the age of 10.
Children.
Right.
That is so sad.
So their ages are 7 and 9 years old. So they came and they got scanned, and you can see how much visceral fat, all that white stuff. And this starts to happen in our children. But watch, you two, watch these faces. When the visceral fat is removed, they look like any kind of normal boys you might pass in a Dubai mall or the Mall of America in the United States or any kind of shopping mall. But take a look at what happens when they lose visceral fat. Now, what is biologically happening? Their thin lips become very plump and filled with beautiful blood flow. They saturate their molecule of hemoglobin with oxygen. Ladies and men listening, you want that kind of health, beautiful blood flow going to your face. It's blood flow from the decrease in inflammatory visceral fat and improvement in beautiful subcutaneous fat. So they go from models. So a significant improvement in their appearance.
Why did you see those
Oh boy,
children?
I've lost your, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Oh boy.
Can you hear me? Testing,
He
testing.
can't
One,
hear
two,
Goodness,
three.
I can't hear you.
We've lost sound.
Oh
We've lost
gosh.
Okay.
Okay, now you have to read my lips.
I wonder why I can't hear.
Uh-oh, technical issue.
I
want to
can't
know
hear.
why
Oh,
children. Okay, why did
That's
those
not going to work.
I cannot hear.
Okay, keep trying,
Oh,
Sean.
he's not going to have a technical person there on a Saturday morning. Oh, he's gone.
It's just us.
Hopefully he'll be
Okay.
back.
He'll be back shortly. So we've got
Honestly,
two
we
kids,
see
7 and
big
9.
Can you
kids
hear me?
running around and we think, hi, yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Oh. We see, and I'm thinking, okay, kids are allowed to be chubby, but it gets to a certain age, like 8 or 9, when they really.
And at that
shouldn't
age,
be.
of course, it's not decisions that they've made
No.
that has caused the illness. It's decisions their parents or their carers or their family have made
But I
for
still
them.
wouldn't have taken them to see Dr. Sean.
No, it'll be interesting when he comes
Yeah,
back to
find
find
out
out why they were
Yes,
scanned in
and
the first
great
place.
that they did. I'm seriously impressive parenting.
And what I really loved about this so far is that I've always had rather large lips. And what he's saying is that's a sign of health.
Top one's thinner.
Oh, it's got thinner. Oh dear.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's
Yours are
on-
great. Okay.
No, my top one needs a little bit of a
No,
filling.
no filler.
I get
I-
really pink cheeks. Selfie.
I'm
Hello,
so
hello.
sorry. I don't know what happened. I
Can you hear
lost my connection.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, number one question. We want to know, why did you see those kids in the first place?
That's such a great question. You know, the father became heavy, and the one kid here was quite heavy. And he said, Dad, I want to be basically as fat as you are. And the father became terrified. And the father was a business guy, and he said, no, I don't want this to happen. He took his 4 children, himself, his wife, his parents, his wife's parents, and his brother. They all came together, and they're all dramatically improving their health because they're doing it together as a family. So here's the mother in just 3 months, how much she improved her face in 3 months. Those boys did it in 7 months. So doing it together as a family is the way to do this. If you do it just selfishly by yourself rather than with your spouse or your family, you're not going to get as good of results. But this whole family did it together. And now it's changed my practice of medicine. If I'm really into health optimization, then I have to look at the best techniques. And the best techniques means getting healthy together as a couple or as a family. And we'll be meeting later this week. We're going to do the same thing in companies. We're going to work on getting an entire company healthy from the leadership down. So, great question. They did it together.
Amazing.
Sean,
and
you
they get
just give
Christmas
me-
presents, family Christmas presents. You have to just give it to the whole family for Christmas. I think it's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah. The whole family should be scanning each other. Parents, scan themselves and their children. And we sat these kids down, Carolyn. They were 7 years old, 9 years old. The youngest was 4. And all of them understood this inflammatory white stuff inside of them. We educated them, and they all decided to do it together. So, it's having a model like that to show to them, help them to realize that they got to get healthy.
What I absolutely love about this, Dr. Sean, is there's a great saying, which is you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, your
Yes.
family, hopefully, certainly at that age, are the 5 people that you spend most time with. Certainly, there'll be a few of the people that you spend most time with. So if you can get them together and have this joint goal, which is beautifully explained by you with a picture of the white stuff, which is bad for you, and the picture of the dark stuff, which is good for you. So this really meditates towards people going with their friends or changing their friends.
Indeed. It is so important. And who we choose to associate with and be in relationship with and be friends with really has a significant impact in our lives. I know you're aware of that, and we need to get other people to be aware of that too. It's just It's something that's underappreciated, sadly, in modern day relationships. We're very superficial too, going online and virtually and things like that. And we're getting away from the significance of relationships, I think, as a species.
Yes.
I love that.
Agreed.
So, Sean, could you tell us a bit more about these facial identifiers, which should be ringing alarm bells for some people about their friends, their relations, or even themselves?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you this interesting photograph of another feature. This is our presidential candidate, our current vice president, and this is another concerning sign. Do you see that prominent temple vein? So as we not age, but we disease, it's a feature of health. Is these veins become more prominent as we lose this beautiful superficial subcutaneous fat. The Vice President Harris developed this, and one of the big reasons you lose this superficial subcutaneous fat is diseasing from stress. So just imagine how stressful it is to run for the presidency of the United States. So if you're concerned about your appearance and your health, you really want to mitigate and reduce the stress in your life. And another example of this is in Usain Bolt. So if you know Usain, he's one of the best runners in the world. He's put on a lot of weight. You know, somebody sent this picture to me yesterday and said, look how much visceral fat he's putting on. But do you see the prominent vein now going on in his forehead there? I'll blow it up a little bit closer. And that vein is because of that loss of that superficial fat that he didn't have before when he was competing. So
Okay.
you got to be careful about stress. That's a big way you lose your appearance.
Okay, so the vein is because of stress. He's lost the weight. Yeah, you have got one of those. I do stress him out a lot. But so how can you be slim and not have visceral fat, but have fat in your face?
Yeah, so they're called tophies. They're thin outside and fat inside. And tophies, unfortunately, have higher mortality, a higher rate of death than people that are fat outside. The fat outside your body is the subcutaneous fat. That's the protective fat. And we've talked about adiponectin, adiponectin, adiponectin. Beautiful molecule that protects you from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, Parkinson's, neurodegenerative conditions, MS. You want adiponectin. The chief source of it comes from fat outside your body. So you want this protective layer of fat. And when you lose it, you're losing your protection against disease. So the real explanation what's happened to Vice President Harris and Usain Bolt is stress, accumulation of visceral fat through cortisol, the loss of this superficial subcutaneous fat that's protective against you, and it changes your whole health, and it's worn in your face. So I'm an emergency medicine doctor. I worked for 3 decades in ERs. Kids, when adults like elderly 70, 80-year-olds come in, they get a cut, right away you see muscle. But when kids come in, they get a cut, right away you see this beautiful subcutaneous fat. So if you're listening today, your goal is to get more superficial subcutaneous fat, and you want to reduce your visceral fat, that deep inflammatory fat inside your body and surrounding your heart. So those are real key objectives that if you're listening today to Carolyn and David, you just learned about those, and that will definitely help you get a more attractive face and a healthier body.
Okay, I still don't see how I can be healthy on the inside and have no visceral fat on the inside, but fatten up my face.
Yeah, so you have a very low, like one of the lowest of all women in the world of visceral fat. And so because you have less, you have a healthier level of subcutaneous fat. Now, we did not scan your face, But if you come to me to Naples, Florida, we will be scanning beautiful women's faces from all over the world, looking at their subcutaneous fat in their face, and then a proxy for visceral fat in their temple. It's called temporal fat. And so you get this temporal fat pad, and you lose your superficial subcutaneous fat. Then you get this unattractive vein, and you get acceleration to the aging appearance of your face. So that's just using science to work to your advantage. So I'll work with you. I'll see if we can get you scanned in Dubai and take a look at and show examples of your face and your head, so your followers could be educated about it.
I've just been doing my goals for next year, and one of them I've just added, which is
a fat face.
No, we're going to Florida.
We're going to Florida.
Yeah,
bucket list. We need to move on to the next. So what have we got? We've got the vein. What else? What else are we looking at for unhealthy faces?
Yeah. So noses. Noses is a big thing. This is a famous country singer that dropped dead, and you see his nose here, pretty thin. This is about 20 years before he died, and look how big that nose gets. So what happens? A lot of people think noses and ears grow with aging. They don't. They grow with diseasing. So as this visceral fat, inflammatory fat, accumulates in your abdomen, it increases your nose and makes it less attractive. Carolyn has a beautiful nose because she has an absence of visceral fat. Now, Carolyn goes on a deep end. David becomes this curmudgeon and stresses Carolyn out, and Carolyn starts increasing her visceral fat. Her nose will get big and less attractive. So I like to show this feature off to people to have them to be aware. And your nose is one of the most prominent features on your face. So that would be the second sign I would tell people to be aware of, is looking at your nose, and get out your old photographs. Literally, you can save your life. If you see your nose is enlarging over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you got to go get an MRI scan and see that visceral fat. Unlike Clint, he dropped dead of a heart attack because nobody told him about that. So,
well, we didn't know. We're still think we're stuck in the noses and ears grow for the whole of your life.
Right. Yeah, it's a lack of knowledge. You are absolutely correct. So you really do want to be educated for signs of where your body's falling apart, and don't confuse it with aging. You know, many people, I have a thin nose. I'm 61 years old. But if I had, accumulating visceral fat inside, my nose would be a bit more prominent and less attractive. So the nose, that's what somebody told me about. So, you want to track it. And so photographs literally can save your life because you track them. And don't buy the lie that you have to be less attractive when you're older. Carolyn and David look fantastic. The healthier you are, the more attractive you are, and the better you can influence humanity and contribute more. So that's why I love working with my clients, most influential people around the world, to increase their ability to influence other people.
Your eyes tend to get smaller as you get older. Is that and I noticed in those photos you showed, the eyes suddenly appeared out of nowhere.
Yes. So you actually have fat behind your eyes, and you have different depots of fat around your eyes. And as you become more healthy, your eyes are open. So think about children. I'll pull up those 4 kids again. Children have big, wide eyes when they're healthy. When they're younger. So their muscles open up their eyes more, and then as you become more diseased, your muscles, you perform less, and you get, slit-like eyes and recessed and not a healthy look. So you want to be, have the most attractive looking eyes, because they're a prominent feature of your health as well, besides noses. So eyes are really key to our health. And there's even, I can't see it here, but maybe a little bit, there's a dark ring on the outside of the the iris, the colored part of the eye. And that ring actually has a name. It's called the limbal ring. And even they sell the contact lenses with this dark ring because they make you look more attractive. Now, you guys are my age. Do you remember the cover of National Geographic with that girl from Afghanistan with the brilliant green eyes? She had brilliant limbal rings. She was very healthy. And so these limbal rings also are a particular aspect to the health of your eye and the appearance of your eye. And as we age, visceral fat erodes that limbal ring and turns it gray and lightens it instead of a beautiful dark appearance. So eye health is really important.
See yours.
I don't know. I have glasses, so I'm not sure that mine will show up very good.
Yeah, yours are strong. Yeah.
So, yeah, I wish we had better resolution of cameras. Now, when clients work with us, we take pictures of limbal rings, their eyes, their faces, their noses, their bodies, their vascularity, arteries and veins. And then we show them how to track it over a period of time instead of tracking crazy cholesterol. So, we get women to lose their varicose veins, their spider veins. Spider veins are just unhealthy vasculature. So you actually get spider veins also in your face, telangiectasias, and on your eyelids. So if you close your eyelids and take photographs, you can assess your vascular health just on your eyelids. Blood flow, blood flow, blood flow.
And it's all about, drinkers often have very vascularized noses. And that's
Indeed. So W.C. Fields is somebody comes to mind with a swollen big nose, and drinkers get elevated amounts of visceral fat. So it's probably mediated through the same mechanism. We give people all these healthy strategies, get rid of visceral fat, but if they keep drinking, Dave, or they keep having stress in their lives or poor sleep, we cannot get them to lose that visceral fat around their heart. And so their faces betray them as somebody who's not living a healthy life.
Can you get the rings back on your eyes, or once you've lost them, they've gone?
Well, that's a brilliant question. It's the same question I have. It's never been studied, but I think in part because health optimization is such a brand new area, especially in medicine, that we've just never seen humans become optimally healthy in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. But that's what I'm looking for. That's why I'm tracking these rings when patients come to me. My clients, I want to capture that they're actually restoring those beautiful dark limbal rings.
You have got to come to Dubai. We need you so badly.
Yeah, it would be a nice market. I do like Dubai. So yeah, well, I think one day it makes a lot of sense. Health optimization practice should be in Dubai, working with people.
We have a huge obesity problem here, as bad as anywhere in the world.
But it isn't just the obesity, is it? It's the health. I mean, you just scream health, and everything that you say makes so much sense. And I thank you so much for sharing, especially being here on a Saturday morning. And I hope we can do it again, because
yes, indeed. My favorite channel to come on is with you and David. So let me wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a great New Year ahead. And I look forward to it.
Can we say before you go, Dr. Sean Omara is on, I think, all of the major media channels, and he is opening up communication about this subject to the world. So please look him up, Google him, chat GPT him, go and find Dr. Sean Omara online.
And people can join. You have all sorts of courses and things now, right?
I do. Yeah, lots of ways. Even if you can't come and work with us, directly by coming to us, we have online programs to help people get MRIs, even in foreign countries, to include Dubai. So, yeah, we've arranged to do this, and we're trying to spread across the globe. So it's an exciting medical practice. We want to replace conventional healthcare and get people to get better instead of just treating disease, eliminate disease.
I know you've got, I was going to let you go, but I have to ask one question, because I keep repeating what I think you said to me a while ago, and that is Wagyu beef.
Indeed, yeah.
It's not a
So
good-
stay away from Wagyu beef. It's a diseased animal with lots of marbleization, lots of fat
Fat.
in their muscle. So you want beautiful muscles like Carolyn and I presume David, if we get him scanned, you'd be able to see a less amount of that inflammatory fat. And that inflammatory fat doubles your mortality compared to an obese person. But that's why you can't get your fanny out of a chair when you're 80 years old, because the fat replaces the muscle. And it just happens. It's not from being older, it's from being diseased. So Wagyu beef is bad. Don't eat it. It's not a healthy cow. You want to eat a lean animal with fat on the sides, the end caps. That fat is good, but not the fat in the muscle. That's disease.
I'm trying to repeat this to people. I was at a restaurant the other night and they had 5 different steaks. All of them were Wagyu, not a single option other than Wagyu. And I was trying to say, this is not healthy.
Good for you, Carolyn. Well, if I come to Dubai, I'll join you. We'll go after them and read them the riot act.
Sean, thank you for coming
Thank
on.
you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Mwah.
All right. See you guys next time.
See you
Thank
guys next time.
Bye.
Still live.
How do we stop alive?
We're still
It's
live.
the